today's sermon is going to be from Fundamentals of UNICULT. We are talking about power of prayer. And if you have this book, you can get it on UNICULT Supply Co. If you don't, if you do have a copy of this book, you can turn to page 113 in the second edition. And I'm just thrilled because I love the way that these chapters go. So if you missed the other two sermons, the last two sermons, we did Something Higher, and then we did The Higher Self, and a lot of people found a lot of value from the Higher Self sermon. I've been getting a lot of really good feedback for that sermon. So if you missed the Higher Self sermon last week, check it out on the UNICULT YouTube channel. It should be right there up front and center. And I feel like that, the Higher Self one, and then also Something Higher, if you're really interested in radically transforming your energy and radically transforming your life, these three chapters, these three sermons are going to give you the answers on how to do that. There is an aspect of this universe which is very strange, which we don't actually even recognize on this planet, which is that as we focus our energy on the divine, our actual lives change. It's so strange. It's so strange. Like, the way that I used to view religion and spirituality and faith, generally speaking, I used to see it as like a story that you told yourself to appease yourself, a story that you tell yourself so that you can feel comfort, so that you can feel like you're protected. But then I realized, well, we're not protected, so, why are we telling ourselves these fake fairy tale stories? And that was the way that I viewed religion and I viewed spirituality, and I thought it was stupid or ignorant or not as intelligent to actually have these stories, these faith-based stories that we tell ourselves. But as I've gone through my spiritual journey and as I've studied Earth, the fact that I'm spiritual is not by accident. The fact that I'm spiritual is because I use my fucking brain constantly. And spirituality is a logical solution. Spirituality is a logical answer to the problems that we face on this planet. And not just because you're appeasing yourself with a story. No, because it's actually true. And you can't see that it's true unless you believe it, because we create our own realities. We are actually incredibly powerful creators, and we don't even recognize the fact that we are so powerful. So if you don't believe in divinity, if you don't believe in magic, if you don't believe in the power of believing in something higher or any of those unseen faith-based things, you're never going to see the truth of the power that they have to offer. And this is like, it's the same as being a vegan almost, in the sense that once you you know how vegans are all kind of crazy? I get that. Vegans are like, how dare you eat animals? This is so fucked up. And vegans are on a different level. I'm vegan. I'm on that level. I have a really hard time even holding the space of all one, because I feel like veganism is really the only way that we should be eating. I think it's just horrific that we eat animals. Here I am on my vegan rant. Vegans are nuts, right? Because they believe this thing so dearly and so wholeheartedly. And a lot of times Christians are the same way, and religious people and spiritual people are the same way. They seem to the uninitiated like nutsos, like nut jobs. Because you look at them and they're like, man, you just got to trust, you just got to believe in God, you just got to have faith, you just got to get, in the flow of life and pray and trust, and God's going to take care of it. And you're like, you're nuts. It's so easy when you don't believe to not see what these people are talking about. But you have to open your mind to the idea that whatever they are on about, if they're passionate about it, there's something to it. And it doesn't mean it's going to work for you. It doesn't mean that has to be your experience as well. But there is something to it when people are that passionate, right? So how can you go from a place where you don't believe in anything to a place where you actually have faith and you can see the power of divinity working in your life? The power of prayer is a great place to start. because praying is so easy, and praying actually has scientifically backed evidence that it works. And you can pray to any conception of divinity that you want to pray to. It does not have to be a Christian God. It does not have to be the spirit of Uni. It can be any conception of divinity that you can imagine that brings you the highest level of comfort, security, and joy. Earlier, I said when I looked at people who were faith-based, even myself, I thought that we were telling ourselves stories in order to get that comfort and joy. And again, the stories that we tell ourselves to give ourselves comfort and joy actually end up becoming real, and or they tune into reality in a very, very real way. Your whims, the truth of your heart, actually leads you to those things which are true for you. Of course, in UNICULT, we have personal reality, and you're allowed to believe whatever you want to believe so long as it doesn't harm anyone. We especially say, if you can't prove that something is true, can you prove that God isn't the spirit of Uni? Can you prove that there is no God? Can you prove that there is a God? Can you prove that we go to heaven after we die? Can you prove that life, that reincarnation is real? That one, maybe. Maybe you kind of can. But these things that you can't prove, these things that you can't say for certain, you get to believe whatever you want about those things. You do not have to believe what other people tell you. You do not have to believe what your parents believe. You do not have to believe what your preacher says to believe. You don't have to believe what I believe. You get to create your own relationship to something higher, and you get to pray for whatever you want, however you want. But the power of prayer is real. And once you tap into that power, once you recognize that your prayers really are being answered, once you can feel the fucking fact that the universe is working in your favor, it will transform your reality to the point that you will become one of those people who are like, you just have to pray. You just have to believe. You just have to trust. It's all going to be okay. And you will see with the same passion what it is to be faithful, what it is to believe in something higher, what it is to give our lives to divinity, and what it is to open our hearts to the truth that the universe has your best interests at heart. Prayer is one of the most powerful things you can do. It seems like a small thing, but try it for a few weeks and you will see that it's not. Okay, I have some really good stuff planned for this sermon today. I'm so excited to talk about it. The first thing I want to talk about is why does prayer work? And I'm going to actually bring up this book, Stalking the Wild Pendulum. This is by Itzhak Bentov, and he helped write the, what are those papers? The Gateway Process from the Monroe Institute for the CIA. And also, he's a genius. And also, I think he was from Venus. He rules. This book is great. It's like $10 on Amazon. Like, if you want a psychedelic journey, like, read this book. Okay, so we're going to be looking at page 41 if you have this book. And I just want to talk to you a bit about the electrostatic field. And this is something that he talks about. So basically, he compares it to a bowl of jelly and putting beans in a bowl of jelly. Kind of a weird comparison. But if you jiggle one of those beans, the whole bowl of jelly will jiggle. And so basically, the electrostatic field is all around us. And we actually have a charge. And when we touch the ground, everybody knows the joke about people who don't wear shoes, right? They're just like grounding. That's a real thing. Okay, our bodies have a charge, and when we are grounding, and we're actually producing a charge in this reality. So our electrostatic energy can actually be felt in the entire electrostatic field of Earth. And this is just one way This is just one way that energy actually literally affects us all at once. So when you move your body or you send out an electromagnetic signal, such as with your brain waves are on the electromagnetic spectrum, or such as from your heart is on the electromagnetic spectrum. As you literally emanate these frequencies, which are emotionally charged, they go out and they affect all of us in our electromagnetic, electrostatic, gravitational, auditory, creative, quantum, entangled fucking reality. There are so many things we can point at in science that say, when I do something energetically, it radiates out immediately and creates beat frequency and creates entrainment and actually creates entanglement with the consciousness that is all things. So you don't have to like follow or understand or believe in any of these scientific principles, but I just want to point to some ideas that prayer is an electromagnetic alignment with the divine. So we'll come back to that in a second. He also has a chapter on meditative states and the ability to harmonize your nervous system to a point of absolute peace, which actually extends the harmonious resonant state. So it increases your power. When you calm your nervous system down to the point that you are in a meditative state, you are actually entraining to the whole system, and you actually are sending out that vibration. It can literally be felt not just by every person on earth, but through the entire universe. There's the great question of why the heck are starseeds here? Why the heck would anyone choose to come to Earth? And the explanation that I give is, if you're at a party and someone is getting their ass kicked outside the window at the party, everybody's going to want to go outside and help, because you can't very well have a good party while someone is calling out for help in agony. Earth is that energy, calling out in agony for help. So higher intelligences, like myself, have come here to this planet to assist us in getting our shit together so that we're no longer in pain. The teachings of UNICULT are about joy. And all of these things that I teach you are to increase and improve the quality of your own life. So when we pray, we are sending energy out instantaneously that can be felt from every single cell in our body to every single person on the planet and to the highest energy. Literally every single energy in the entire universe can feel your existence, because we are all one. And what does this mean? This means you are also feeling every other entity, every other bit of creation inside your own body. So maybe sometimes when you get overwhelmed with life, maybe sometimes when you're crying on the floor, maybe sometimes that's more than just you. I know for a fact that my body, my emotions work as a collective. I process collective emotions in my body. And I think many of us do, because we are all connected. So it's cool to think about the scientific reality that we can point to with regards to prayer and why prayer is going to be radiating out and actually working. Belief makes real. So as we are able to tune into the fact that our prayers are going to be answered, that our prayers are going to work, then the more we will be willing to pray with the right energy inside our hearts. And here's the rub, here's the trick, here's the life hack. Not every type of prayer works. You actually have to pray in the right way. And I'm going to teach you how to pray in the right way today. And there are ways to pray that aren't going to work. There are ways to pray that are going to work okay. And there are ways to pray that are going to work amazingly. Yes, let's start there. Okay, so I also want to bring up, I didn't bring the book out here because it's in my bedroom, but it's called A Course in Miracles. And this book totally changed how I view divinity, and it totally helped me overcome the last vestiges of my ego, which I'm still rooting out, still ferreting out little disturbing aspects of myself that were created in trauma, which is what I think of as the ego. But A Course in Miracles is an incredible text if you can stomach the fact that they use the word God, if you can stomach the fact that they gender God as he. Those things are barriers to entry for me, and I know a lot of people, and I'm sorry about that. I wish they had written it in a gender-neutral way. But A Course in Miracles is honestly the best text, if you can get past those two things, the best text to allow you to see divinity for what it is. And it reinforces this idea that the divine is always here to help you. There is nothing about God, which is God is everything, right? And you're part of God, and everyone's part of God. And they're kind of saying they're Jesus, but I think it's the Pleiadians in this book. It's a weird book. So God is all things. This is the premise. God is all things, and you are a part of all things, which I think we all kind of collectively understand these days. And there is nothing but light in God. There is nothing but light. But there's this really strange thing that we've done on earth, which is to close our eyes to the truth that we are loved and cared for. And we have actually created a disturbance in the frequency of God. And we have actually turned away. We've just literally closed our eyes to the truth that God is here taking care of us, and that all things are working in our best favor, and that we are these powerful creators. All these things that like spirituality and religion teach. Well, religion doesn't always teach those things, but the spiritual understanding that we are creators, that we are infinitely powerful in our own selves, and turning away from that and saying, oh, life is hard, life is bad, and then that creates trauma, and then we just have this trauma resonance, and then we traumatize each other, and then it's really hard to remember the truth that the universe is working in our favor because we're trapped in this discordant state. So the only way to overcome that discordant state is to close our eyes to it and open our eyes to the truth that the divine, and that everything is beautiful, and that we're always being taken care of, and that there's literally nothing that can harm us because our soul is eternal, and that death and fear and pain, these are all just illusions, absolute illusions. And again, you don't have to believe any of these things that I'm saying. I'm not asking you to believe them. I'm offering you the tools that have helped me, a very logical person, find the belief in spirituality to the point that I feel it in my body, and I know it's true, and it's actually radically transformed my life. So if you're interested in radically transforming your life, there are ways that you can pray that allow you to open up your mind to the most glorious possible version of reality and send your prayers on that channel. And there's hacks. I'm going to explain all of this and how to do this. Okay, so the first way of praying, and this way of praying is not going to get your prayers answered. The first way of praying is to be bitter and to be angry and to pray for your enemies to be smited. Okay? If you are resonating in fear, pain, death, ego, attachment, you're praying specifically for something because you want to get revenge on someone, or you're praying specifically for something because you want to feel superior to other people, those types of prayers are not always going to work. They're going to work in a very lesser degree. If you're attached to the specific outcome as a source of self-worth, those prayers are not going to work as well unless they're in alignment in some other way. But if you're like, oh, I really want this promotion because I want more money and I want people to know I'm worth something, and I want people to like feel like I'm better than them, that prayer is not gonna work. Why isn't it gonna work? Think about it for a second. Why would that prayer not work? Based on the understanding that A Course in Miracles teaches us that prayer won't work because God can't hear it. Because it isn't of God. Because it isn't of the vibration of the truth, which is that we are all one, and that the universe is working in your favor, and that you can actually have unconditional love, and that you deserve to be nourished, and that everyone deserves to be nourished. It isn't working on those truths. It's working in illusion. Seeing the world in the way that the Course in Miracles suggests, in the sense that all of the ego, all of the fear, all of the pain is actually an illusion, and that you actually don't have any ability to control it because you are of God. And your ability to control the universe actually comes from your highest vibration that is like God, or is like Uni, or whatever you want to call the highest energy that you are a part of. All things, like whatever all the consciousness that all things are, that's what I'm calling God. I'm not talking about a Christian God. I know it's hard because we're programmed. We're so deeply programmed. But I'm not talking about a Christian God. The Christian God has some overlap, sure. But I'm talking about a more expansive version of God that actually reaches your heart, that actually creates happiness and joy and fulfillment in your heart that isn't of fear or pain or death or revenge or any of those negative emotions. So this least powerful prayer is going to program your subconscious, program your energy, and saturate your body in a negative vibration if you are attaching, or you are bitter, or you are working in fear or pain or death, or wanting to make other people feel bad, or make yourself feel good because you're actually insecure. Okay, and I think what you're going to start to see here is that what matters about prayer is the root feeling. So notice I didn't say, oh, if you pray for $1 million, you're not going to get it. No, I didn't say that. If you pray for $1 million because you don't feel secure in who you are, and you think the only way that people are going to respect you is if you have $1 million, then that's not a prayer of God. That's not a prayer on the right channel. That's not a prayer that's going to actually flow in the way that divinity allows abundance to flow. But if you pray for $1 million because you're like, I want to pray for $1 million so I can create systems that show that we're all one. I want to create this thing that helps all these people, and I want to create this thing that helps all these people because it's my true heart's calling. And maybe you're cool with the praise and stuff too, but that's not the reason why you're doing it. Then that prayer is going to work a lot better. So let's talk about the medium level prayer. This is the place where I think most prayers if you're a beginner, this is going to be the way that you pray, I'm sure. And this way of prayer really does work. And it's a really, really wonderful way to transform your entire reality. So if you are not so sure about trusting the divine plan, if you're not so sure that you're ready to let go of your attachment to relationships or things or the material reality or fear or pain or insecurity, if you've got these things alive inside of yourself because of trauma and you're not ready to let them go because you have to do shadow work, this type of prayer is going to work for you. And the way that we do this type of prayer is recognize that you're in pain and ask for help. I think that some of the most powerful prayers that I've ever done have been in a place of absolute agony, and piteously begging something higher, please help. Because sometimes I am so lost in my emotions, I am so lost in my life, I'm so lost in my attachment, I'm so lost in my trauma, I don't even know what to pray for, because the only thing I can imagine is maybe to die, because that's the only thing I can think of as the solution, because I'm so lost. So if you're in that place that is so lost, you can just pray with your heart, please help. What does this do energetically? This allows you to surrender your energy, surrender your control over your life to a more intelligent energy, to a more loving energy, to a more powerful energy. Whatever you conceptualize of something higher, I would suggest that you make it a benevolent something higher and not a darker energy. And you surrender your attachment to your control of your life and you realize whatever I'm doing isn't working, that you might recognize some of this language if you're in a 12-step program, because they have it figured out. Whatever I'm doing isn't working, and I'm here to just surrender my heart, surrender my power, surrender my control. All I can think of is surrender in the form of dying, so I might as well surrender to something higher and say, please help. Please help. And if you pray with your heart in that surrender, you are actually opening up a channel for new things to happen. If you close your energy off and you say, I don't need any help, this is something that addicts do, this is something that a lot of people do, I don't need any help, I don't need help from God, I don't need help from my parents, probably your parents sucked, I'm sorry, okay? But if you have that self-sufficient energy, you're not going to be opening your heart to God, and guess what? You're a creator. The infinite energy of abundance can only flow through you as much as you open your heart to it, as much as you allow it. So if you close off and say, I don't need any help, then you're not going to get the help. But if you're in pain, I had someone tell me once, may you be in enough pain to want to change. If you're in enough pain, you can then open your heart and say, please help. I'm allowing a new energy. I'm allowing for change. And I don't know what that change looks like. I'm lost, I'm stuck, I'm confused. Please help. So that's if you're in a really desperate place. I recommend that type of prayer. If you're just generally skeptical about God, you're generally skeptical that things are not working out in their favor, or you're generally not really feeling like God is doing a good job. Personally, I get attached to certain things in my life. We all do. And then my higher power takes them away consistently. Anytime I get attached to something, it gets taken away from me. And like it fucking sucks. It does. It hurts. And it's all ego, it's all attachment, and yeah, it fucking sucks. Okay? So if you're in that state, when you're frustrated because you're attached to something and the divine plan makes it so that you can't hold on to that thing as a form of security, you have to reach for something higher. You have to reach for prayer. And this type of prayer comes, I call this God's bitch. This is when you are resentful of God. This is when you are attached to reality working out in a certain way, but it's not working out in that way. This is where you are forced to surrender. You are forced to let go, and you're angry about it. Can you pray in that state? Yes. And you should. The prayer that you do from the place of being resentful towards God is not the most powerful prayer, in the sense that it might not change reality to your will. Because when you're in resentment, you don't have the ability to change reality to your will. Why? Because you're not in true reality. You're in ego illusion. Remember, when you're in ego illusion, you can't control that reality. The reality that you can control, the reality that you absolutely have every God-given right to manipulate, is only that reality of unconditional love, of total trust and support and light. As soon as you get one drop of ego in there, your powers get diminished. Because that's not your power. Your power is of God. Your power is of divinity. Your power is of unconditional love. Your power is of the spirit of uni. The fact that all things are connected. Okay, so you're resentful. You're like, fuck God, but also like, I am not comfortable, I'm not happy, and I am powerless to do anything in this life. I really would love to control reality to fit into my expectation of it, but it's not working. So I guess I will get on my knees and I will pray. And the hack here, I wonder if anyone can guess it. The hack here is gratitude. And gratitude works at every level. Gratitude works at every level. If you're in that suicidal place, that desperate place, definitely open your heart to gratitude. But when you are bitter, when you are angry at God, when you are resentful of God, when you are resentful that things are not working out in the way that you want them to, that is the time for gratitude. And you could say, how can I be grateful? I just got like the one thing that I like wanted taken away from me. And the way that you can be grateful is to trust, try to find trust that this higher power is actually opening up your life to be the way that you truly want it to be. And that when you're attaching to things, you're actually attaching to a feeling, and that you actually deserve that feeling because your attachment to that person or that object or that job or that circumstance isn't actually giving you the fullest sense of that feeling. So when you're bitter, when you don't trust God, you have to be willing to let go. You have to be willing to let go. And surrender comes into this. So we're talking surrender and gratitude. These are the two steps of prayer that are going to help you work. They're going to help prayer work. They're going to help divinity come into your life, literally fucking transform it. Do you think I would be sitting up here talking about prayer if I wasn't absolutely convinced that it works? Prayer will work for you. And I wish that I had been able to take my younger self and shake them and say, prayer will work for you. All you have to do is pray. All you have to do is pray every single day, and your life will radically transform into the life that you want to live. But you have to do it in the right way, and that is to find gratitude. You can find gratitude in the smallest things. I'm grateful for the fact that I have wood floors in my house. That's really nice, actually. I don't think about that. That's a nice thing. I like the wood floors. I need to clean them more. I can be grateful for that, and my gratitude maybe will help me clean them more. Okay, I'm grateful for my mustache. I love this mustache. Y'all can hate. I don't give a fuck. I love this mustache. I've spent my whole life wanting a mustache, and now I have one. I'm grateful for all of you watching me right now. I'm grateful for all of our shared energy. You can just literally look around yourself. What is the fucking closest object to you? Be like, I'm grateful for this clicky pen. It's pretty cool that we have clicky pens. I actually really like the fact that I can just click this pen. That's kind of cool. Find gratitude, okay? Find fascination in the world. Find curiosity and be like, I kind of like that. I'm grateful for this weird plastic thing with ink in it that lets me write tiny little lines down that transform my thoughts into the written language that is only interpreted by people who can read. Pretty cool. I'm grateful. Okay, so you can find gratitude. If you're in a bitter place, if you're in a grumpy place, if you're in a resentful place, finding gratitude, you're going to be like, how can I be grateful? Fuck this reality. Nothing is going my way. Okay, stop. Look at the physical objects around you. Oh, wow, I'm grateful for this rock. I'm grateful for this tree. I'm grateful for the sky. Just sit there for 5 minutes and just name things that you're grateful for. Write down 5 things. Write down 100 things. Write down as many things as you need to actually feel the energy of gratitude. Feeling states are more important than anything else in this world. This is all an illusion. You know why it's an illusion? Because it ends. Because this pen can break, and then it no longer exists. But you know what can't break? Your soul, your fucking consciousness, your eternal spirit. And your eternal spirit is always learning and growing. There is no unlearning things. We can temporarily forget when we come into this weird world of illusion, this wacky, weird world of illusion. But when we remember, oh yeah, I'm an infinite being of wisdom, and that infinite wisdom goes on through all eternity, and it cannot be destroyed. It cannot be diminished. It cannot be taken away. That is the truth. That's what's real. Everything else is an illusion. So when you're grateful, when you change your feeling state from bitterness to gratitude through that stupid hack of looking around at every single thing in your life and saying, I'm grateful for this thing, you actually change the vibration inside your body, which is being felt by the electrostatic field, which is being felt by every single entrained energy in the universe, and you are radiating out a higher vibrational energy. So the feeling of gratitude and the ability to let go of your attachment enough to allow for something different to happen are what is going to make prayer work? Okay, let's talk about the most powerful prayer that you can do. And this type of prayer, if you can accomplish this type of prayer, you will literally get anything that you want. Anything. If you put yourself into the right vibration, the right expectation, and the right flexibility and non-attachment to the outcome, to the physical outcome, you will get whatever you want through prayer. And this type of prayer is of that higher vibration. It is of letting go of your attachment. You say, if I let go of my attachment, then how the fuck is my prayer going to work? If I'm not attached to how it works, then why would I be praying at all? That just means that I'm a non-entity. Yes, that's what the ego thinks. The ego is a non-entity. Sorry. I'm sorry. I wish it wasn't that way. You have to starve your ego to death. That's literally the only solution. I'm sorry about it. There's a time for all things to die. Give thanks to your ego. It's done a great job. There's no more need for it. Okay, we starve it to death. That's the only violence that I can think of that we need to do in this world. And it shouldn't be too violent, but I have some questions about the ego situation. Okay, so let's talk about this type of prayer. The reason why this type of prayer works is because when I say let go of attachment, I'm talking about attachment to physical reality. I'm talking about attachment to this illusion. You have to get some magic glasses on your eyes. They look like this, I think. They're crooked. Here we go. These magic glasses on your eyes that allow you to see the base root feeling. The base root feeling of what you want. I a year ago I went through a breakup, right? And it fucking fucked me up. I'm cussing a lot today, but that breakup fucking sucked. And the attachment was to an idea of safety. I felt like this person was supposed to keep me safe, and they didn't. And that felt like a really big betrayal. So when I looked at what I wanted, when I started praying about it, and I realized I was attached to this person because I felt like they were going to give me a feeling of safety, I realized that what I really needed was a feeling of safety. I didn't need this person. This person is an illusion. This person is something that I'm tripping out about. And maybe they didn't do great things, whatever. I set my boundaries, that's fine. But the feeling of safety that I wanted from this person, that I was looking for in the illusion, I realized I had to find divinely. I had to find the feeling of safety that I wanted inside of myself. And how did I do that? I had no idea how to do that. I'm traumatized. So I had to pray. And by praying for the root feeling of safety, of comfort, of whatever else that I was looking for in this person, while simultaneously sending them love in prayer and saying, I pray for them to be happy. I pray for them to never contact me again. I pray for them to, I pray to never see them again or think about them, but I also pray for them to be happy and having love in my heart for them. This was a life hack for me, and it transformed my reality. It transformed my energy. It made me such a different person that I don't even resonate with the same people anymore because it transformed my reality so much. So think about the things that have been taken away from you or that haven't worked out in your life or that you haven't gotten yet. If you're like, oh, this is another one from me, really just want to be famous. I really just want to be famous. And I really want to be famous for good reasons. I want to change the consciousness of the earth. That's my art. That's the goal of my art, is I want to change the consciousness of earth. So how do I let go of my attachment to being famous and I transform it, and I have to let go of all the ego-based reality and I have to find the feeling. Oh, I feel like I am powerful enough to change the earth. That's what really matters, is my own feeling state. I feel like I am smart enough to change the earth. I feel like I am kind enough to change the earth. I feel like I am actually the right person to do that. And that feeling of knowing that that's true means I no longer need that external validation. because the external validation is an illusion. It is ego-based. It is not of God. So whatever it is in your life, if you can truly let go of the physical attachment to it and find the underlying root feeling of what you're longing for, of what you want, and you can pray for that feeling, those prayers will always be answered. That is where you have your divine power. That is where you have your divine right to get anything that you want. Anything that you want. Your wildest dreams can be made true if you're able to pray in this way. Surrender, humility. Humility is just this idea. Humility doesn't mean I'm a worthless scum. This stupid, self-deprecating energy that's so exhausting to be around. Don't waste your time on self-deprecating yourself. Nobody enjoys it. You're destroying your own energy for the sake of no one. Stop. Love yourself. Gas yourself up as a joke. Don't tear yourself down as a joke. Gas yourself up as a joke. That's a funny joke. Hell yeah. So what is humility? Humility isn't self-deprecation. Humility is this idea of, I know that I'm part of something larger. I know that I'm part of something grander than I can even comprehend. My current perception of reality is limited because I'm a human trapped on Earth, trapped in the third dimension, trapped in time. And there are energies beyond my energy that know more than me, that can and want to help me. That's what I mean by humility. Flexibility and non-attachment, we talked about that. And then gratitude for the infinite wisdom of the divine. Wow. And again, it comes back to that gratitude of God takes away a relationship and you say, thank you, God, for aligning me with what I really deserve. And thank you, God. Thank you, higher power. Thank you, divinity. Thank you, spirit of uni, for clearing out all of this energy which is not really serving my highest good, because I trust and I am grateful that the universe is always working in my highest good for all. The expansiveness of perfection. The more you can see and resonate on the expansiveness of perfection, it's 11:11, the more you can actually feel it. And I know we're having a long sermon today, but there's one more thing I want to talk about, and that is the energy inside your body when you pray. And we were talking about Itzhak Bentov and his meditative states chapter, which is all about how you are actually resonating, you're creating and expanding your energy by putting yourself in a meditative state. And what is the meditative state? It is calming the nervous system down to a point of stillness and of peace. Our bodies are full of water. You can just imagine the water splashing around. That's what's happening inside your body when you're anxious and when you're always stimulating yourself. You grab your phone, you check TikTok, you grab your phone, you check YouTube, you grab your phone, you texting to people, you're like, oh, I have to go do this, I have to go do that. How often do you stop and center your energy so that all of the internal waters still, so that your energy stills to the point of peace? This peaceful state is what radiates out, and that what actually creates a more powerful prayer. And when we're talking about prayer and who we're praying to, you can be appealing to certain gods or energies or aliens or angels or your higher self. It doesn't matter. But when you are praying energetically, you are in a conversation with the entire universe. When you are praying energetically, you are in a conversation with all things. So when you send out a prayer, it is an emittance of an energy that goes through the world. So how often, knowing that you're sending out this little bloop, bloop feeling, this little feeling energy of prayer, of trust and gratitude and alignment and asking for what you really want of your true heart and sending that out into the universe, and you know it's going to work, how often should you be doing that? Constantly. The answer is constantly. You should literally be constantly praying. And maybe you're not there yet, okay? But we're talking about a divine alignment. And this is true about meditation too. You know, we do these meditations, these guided meditations. I think it's so funny because it's like, it's so primitive. I'm realizing now. I'm right here along with y'all. But the idea of like a whole meditation that just like literally focuses on one chakra to align that chakra, we are like in the dark ages, okay? What I'm realizing now is that as we become more attuned to our own bodies, as we become more attuned to our own energy and how it radiates out and affects all things, we are going to be able to understand a constant awareness of our energy, a constant meditation, a constant alignment of all of our chakras, a constant alignment with our lymphatic system and our health, our overall health, a constant grounding with the earth, a constant communication with something higher. And we will be in a different state, a different vibration, because of our ability to still our energy, become aware of it, and then manage it every moment of every day. And so constantly praying helps with that. Whenever you get a moment to just take your time and just send out a prayer of gratitude. Thank you for this, higher power. Thank you for that, higher power. Ooh, I would really like to see this person today. Send it as a prayer. If it's aligned, it'll happen. The constant practice of prayer is a really good thing, but maybe that's too much for you. That's fine. Then when should you pray? What's the bare minimum? First thing before getting out of bed, right after waking up, and last thing before going to sleep. Right before going to sleep. Right after waking up, right before going to sleep. Why? Say your prayers aloud in these moments. I'm not fucking around. I'm not fucking around. Listen to what I'm saying and do it. You will fucking transform your whole life. I'm not just sitting here saying bullshit for no reason. Listen to this advice because it is the best advice I have. If you follow me and you know what the fuck I'm talking about, like, I know what I'm talking about, and this is it. This is it. Say your prayers aloud in the early morning and late at night. If you wake up thirsty or to go pee, say your prayers. Say them out loud. Why does this work? Why does this work? This works because you are literally aligning your energy and your subconscious mind with your prayers. And when you align your subconscious mind with your prayers, that means that your energy is charged with the intention of them. And that means that you are, in effect, constantly praying throughout the day with your hypnotized, subconscious, programmed mind of the expectation of divinity. So if you're not going to pray all the time, that's okay. Pray at night, pray in the morning, and program your subconscious to be grateful. Program your subconscious to be happy and fulfilled and to trust the universe to take care of you, because it is. And if you can see that, then you'll be a lot happier. You'll be a lot happier. Spirit of Uni, thank you for channeling this beautiful sermon through me about the power of prayer. Please help every person understand how powerful their prayers are. And the more that we align with trust that divinity is working in our favor and that however our prayers are answered is the right way, the more powerful our prayers will become. It seems like a paradox, but it's not, because the universe is amazing. We are praying to release all expectation, attachment, and ego and see the highest potential reality. Uni bless. Yeah, that's actually a really good point. Including prayers in your daily tasks. Yeah, if you have to do something you don't really like taking out the trash or scooping the litter box, that's a great time to be like, I pray for something to be more harmonious. You can do it when you're brushing your teeth. You can do it when you're taking a shower. If you program it with ritual, that's another very powerful prayer. Thank you so much for joining me for Cam Church. If you are in the UNICULT Discord channel, now is the time to go to Uni Brunch, which is in the video chat chill zone, and just have a good time. Say hello to the new members and talk about any questions you have in UNICULT. If you are interested in calling the hotline, you can call 1-833-UNICULT, and you can actually talk to a devoted member, which is really exciting. 1-833-UNICULT, that's our hotline number. And what else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, if you want to send in, if you want to buy more raffle tickets, you can buy raffle tickets by sending in money at Unicole Unicron on Venmo 11, 22, 33, or 44, and I will put you in, and I will message you on Venmo and let you know that I have put your money in. Thank you all for your support and your prayers for Uniacres. We are praying confidently and with trust and surrender and non-attachment that we do get a property to share our gifts with each other, our wisdom, and our hearts. Yeah. Uni bless.